uh, hotel family, life, prosperity, health. This video is going to be about how Aset learned the secret name of Ra. And I'm going to, at the end, I'm going to briefly explain what this Kemetic tale, what this Egyptian story means to me, and how it can be applied in a real world situation. Because a lot of times I think we look at the mythological tales that are left to us by the Egyptians, by the Kemetic, the Cometian people, and we only look at the tale on a surface level without actually trying to understand what the text itself could be trying to tell us on a deeper level. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be reading my own version of the tale. What I basically did is I took several translations of the Kemetic text itself, and I rewrote it to how can I say it? I rewrote it in a way in which the story, how the sentences are structured and the words used would make more sense to someone living in my time, 2019. Let's begin. How Aset learned the secret name of Ra. Amun-Ra, the king of the Neteru, had many names and many aspects. Among these many names, Amun-Ra also had a hidden name that only he knew. He had never revealed his hidden name to any of the other Neteru because it was his secret name which contained his hidden power. Now Aset was the mistress of magic, and she was constantly perfecting her craft and doing things in order to strengthen her magic. She wished to have her power surpass that of all the other Neteru, so she was known to train both day and night. Aset's ambitions caused her to even wish to become as powerful as Amun-Ra himself, but she knew that in order to become so, she had to know his secret name. Aset knew that the Neteru could not die, but that they could both age and also be hurt. However, Amun-Ra could only be hurt by his own creations. During the billions of years of his existence, Amun-Ra had become an old man. His dark black skin was like ivory and his hair was kinky and white. He would often sit on his throne and sleep. While sleeping, his spittle would sometimes dribble onto the earth. Seeing this one day, Aset got an idea. Ra was so powerful that he could only be harmed by something that contained his own strength, and Aset realized that his drool was the perfect something to use. Therefore, Aset, who changed herself into the likeness of a human woman, molded a serpent out of the dust of the earth and the saliva from Ra's mouth. She then placed the magic serpent on the path that Ra would take when he went daily through the two lands of Egypt, as he was known to do. Just as Aset knew he would, the very next day after she had set her trap, Ra arose and went on his way. When he had reached the spot where the serpent was at, in a flash, the serpent struck Ra upon his calf and injected its poison into Ra's leg. Almost immediately, fire consumed the body of Ra, and he was unable to speak. His entire body shook with the power of the poison that was in the serpent's bite. Struggling to compose himself, Ra called out to the Neteru within the sound of his voice to come and help him. "I have been wounded by a deadly thing, which I did not create myself," Ra said. "Go forth and bring me all who can perform magic. I must find someone powerful enough to help me." Then the children of Ra came unto him, weeping, and Aset came with them. "Father," Aset began, standing at Ra's side, "tell me, who has done this to you? Tell me, who has caused you to lie in the bed, and I will go forth and destroy them with my spells." Then the great Neteru answered her and said, I was journeying through the two lands, as is my custom, to see all that I have created, when I was bitten by a serpent that I did not see hidden amongst the grass. It was not made of fire, nor was it made of water, yet I am both colder than water and hotter than fire, all at the same time. My limbs are drenched in sweat. I shiver uncontrollably. My eyes cannot see clearly, and I drip as though it was the heart of the summer months. Aset gently caressed Ra's head while holding his hand. "Oh, divine Father," she said caringly, "I perceive that this serpent must have been very powerful if it was strong enough to put you on your bed. This serpent, I fear, and its poison is even stronger than I am, and I may not be able to assist you with my magic. So please, divine Father, tell me, your daughter, your secret name. If I knew your secret name, then my magic would be the most powerful in all the earth, and I could easily heal you and avenge you by crushing the head of this wicked serpent. So I ask you, divine Father, what is your secret name?" Amun-Ra answered her saying, "My name? Aset. I am the maker of heaven and earth. I have tied the mountains together and created all things. I am the maker of moisture. I have made heaven and the two horizons. I have created the Neteru, and I have made light and darkness. I am he who causes the Nile to rise, and I am he whose name the Neteru does not know. I am the opener of the year. I am Khepri in the morning. I am Ra at noonday, and Atum in the evening." "Indeed," Aset replied, "you are all of those things and more, divine Father. However, your name is not mentioned in all the things you have just named. Tell me your secret name, and I will use my magic to cease the poison from troubling you." "Promise me that I can trust you with my secret, child," Ra said. "Promise me that you will never repeat my name to anyone. If either the Neteru or humanity would ever figure out my name, they would have enough power to bring havoc down upon our section of the universe." "I promise," Aset said, "I will guard your secret name with my life." Trusting her, Ra flew away with Aset to a secret place away from the earth, away from humanity, and away from all of the Neteru. There, in his secret place, Amun-Ra told Aset his secret name. Aset then said the name of Amun-Ra and was given the power of Ra. She spoke to the poison within his body and cast a spell upon it. The poison then left the body of Ra, and Ra was healed. From that day on, Aset's power knew no limits. She had obtained what she had set out for. She had become the most powerful magician amongst humanity and the Neteru alike. How Aset learned the secret name of Ra. Now, I'm only going to touch on my explanation for this story briefly, because I do plan on doing a further, more in-depth video about it later. But what you have to understand is that the Neteru were anthropomorphized aspects of nature. Okay, Ra was the sun, much like Geb is the earth, Nut is the heavens, etc., etc. So when you think of Ra being the sun, and you think of Aset saying that in order to have the power of Ra, or to be the most powerful magician, and magician magic is only science that's not understood yet to the observer, if it's real. Okay, what appears to be magic is only science that the observer does not understand. The observer does not understand what is actually taking place. So to the observer, it's magic. So in order for Aset to become the most powerful magician or the most powerful scientist, right, she had to obtain the secret name of Ra, the secret name of the sun. Now, something's name symbolically is its essence. It is what it is. It distinguishes it from everything else out there in the universe. The name tree separates tree from water, animal, bird, human, star, etc., etc. So when you think about the sun and the secret name of the sun, we are talking about, in my opinion, we are talking about its true nature. Okay? Inside of the core of the sun, there is a constant process going on that we know as nuclear fusion. Hydrogen atoms are becoming helium atoms, and in a totally condensed version of this is what is producing the energy of the sun. It is the nuclear fusion taking place at its core. The hydrogen becoming helium at its core is what's making the sun as powerful as it is. So from a scientific perspective, what I would tell my children when I'm reading this story to them, I would also impart to them the wisdom that in order to be a powerful scientist, in order to be able to manipulate nature, in order to be able to manipulate anything within our physical universe, you must first find out its secret name. You must first find out its unique properties that sets it apart from everything else. What makes that thing that thing? What makes the sun a sun as opposed to a planet, as opposed to a body of water, as opposed to a human, as opposed to a bird, as opposed to a fish? What makes the sun the sun? And it was the power, the brightness, the shining, the heat, the energy, the power of the sun that made the sun a object of adoration to the Egyptians. So the secret name in this instance would be, where does it derive its power from? Not in a spooky sense, but in a real world sense. It derives its power from nuclear fusion that is taking place in its core. And once Aset understood Ra's secret name, once she understood the fullness of the nuclear fusion taking place at its core, then she could then take that understanding and apply it in a real world setting. When we make inventions, we only observe nature, understand nature, and we replicate what we see in another type of environment. Bombs are from nuclear fission, the separating of atoms. Okay, the opposite of nuclear fusion is nuclear fission. You see, so in understanding nuclear fusion, one can also grasp the concept of nuclear fission, and that can also lead to weaponry, technology, energy sources, etc., etc., etc. So why would Aset want to know the secret name of Ra? Just for a good story time, just for a good story that you can tell your little ones, just so the priest can have something to recite to make them look knowledgeable? No, they were scientists. So why would Aset want to know the secret name of Ra? And what was the secret name of Ra? The intricacies of what makes the sun, the intricacies of nuclear fusion. Because to understand nuclear fusion and to understand what makes the sun, one could then harness the power of the sun right here on Earth. Hotel, life, prosperity, and health. More in-depth video coming soon.